What's going on, everybody? I just want to send the link out. All right, welcome to the weekly screen share live on YouTube. We haven't done it. We did it twice or once now. This will be the second time live on YouTube. Let me pop out the chat and shout out to all my loyal lifers. Show up early on a Saturday morning, but it is what it is, right? So I'm at work on my day off. Almost forgot about the screen share. Yep, bang, bang, bang. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Bang out these insurance policies. Doing your thing, man. God bless you, brother. Getting that paper, brother. And then you can stack that Bitcoin. Good morning, Sammy Cup and Handle. Let's get the good vibes started. Shout out to everybody here. Hope you're having a wonderful time. So what happened to me, funny story, I like to share personal stories, is my aunt, my dad's sister, she texted me like, oh, hi. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'm here, whenever you want, come on down. But I wasn't saying like, come down today. I was saying like, come on down, like whenever you can, right? And no, it's all good. And then she was like, oh, I'm on the boat. I think I'll be there tomorrow. It was just, or today. She was like, I'll be there today, yesterday. And I was like, but you never say no to your aunt, right? She's 82 years old. So anyway, she was so nice, honestly. I think it was God. God sent me my aunt. Like, he was like, as my dad's sister. And so she's here in my house, and it's super nice. And it's like really like a blessing. Unexpected, but fine. I actually think I did say come on down whenever you want. And so, hey, she came on in. You know what I mean? But I wanted to make it like a perfect time for her. You know what I mean? We had guests actually that just left. Like, what if they had been there? But it was perfect. It all worked out. It's the way God wanted it to be. Anyway, just funny story, man. You never know what's going to happen in life. Like, you think you know who's going to be in your house, and you don't even know. Just things will go the way they're supposed to go. It's interesting. We all make plans, but there's always a plan for you already kind of aligned. Bitcoin, early morning. So that 4-hour time frame, like I'm stuck on it, right? And you guys know me why, because it did break out. Got the little pump this morning. Now they're just toying with it. But honestly, if you want to be a stickler about your charts, like that's a breakout. Because clearly, candles, each candle could not get above that area. That's your trend, and then you did. Could be almostly bullishly retesting the trend line. You see, like you break out, you bullish, or even the 21-day moving average here. But I'm still stuck on whenever I'm above the 200 MA, touching the 21. Like, I just simplified my life. You see what I'm saying? After years and years of trading, it's funny, I sit with people now, and I said, I did this for so long. Like, I'll meet someone that's working on my house, and sometimes they want to learn about trading. They ask me. It happened actually the other day. And I said, I did this for so long, and I did so many different things. And are we still here? Is this like, I just haven't seen anyone write anything here. I just want to make sure is this working? This is on, right? Are we here? Are we here? But it's just funny that I did all these things, but you come back down to simple stuff, because if you can't replicate over time, right? And then what I learned too is once you get above the 1 hour to the 4 hour time frame, you just need a lot of patience. You just need a lot of patience. Morning, took profits on Sol this morning. Let's see if we stay strong over the 200s. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm liking anything above 107K, right? That's like every time I see us above 107, I'm like, yeah. Every time we're below, I'm like, it's like that's that level right now that we just want to keep maintaining. First thing we'll do is we'll go over Bitcoin like we do every day, right? And we'll break it down. Last night, I apologize, did not do my update. My wife said, the 3-year-old, the 4-year-old, she's so scared tonight. Can you just go hold her for a second while you're next to her? And I held her at 10 or something, and I was out. Like, I woke up at like 5 in the morning, like, oh no, my update. My wife's like, it's okay, it's Friday night, they'll forgive you. I'm like, yeah, but I never miss my update. But I fell asleep next to my baby girl. Hey, it's Fridays in the summer, but hey, no days off, right? Like today I'll be working for 5 hours straight, all the way till 12. Like I'll basically streaming straight. It's gonna be crazy. I have the class. If you want to join class and you're still here, jump on in. Email my wife, cryptolifers@gmail. Say, hey, I'd like to jump into class. So yeah, I'm stuck on this idea. Let's delete everything though, and let's see the big picture. You stay on one time frame. It can be good at sometimes because like you just maintain that one thought, but there can be something that you see on the other time frames that could have warned you. I've learned that the hard way. So the weekly, as I've said, I like, and to me, similar to like the 4-hour, how like that is a flag technically, even though those were dancing in the middle. But that's closing. And then I'm stuck on the fact that we're above 104,463. That key level there, which you can even just call 104.5 if you'd like to. But that's just a key area. As long as we're closing candles above it, I'm fine with that. And the second we close candles below it, then I'm starting to think, okay, 102, 98.5. Is that possible? Yeah, like it's only one candle. Let's see what happens. But so far, this is beginning to build how it should, right? Like every beautiful staircase starts with one stair. If this is going to be a beautiful pump, this is how it could start, right? So like, you got to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, right? Even if you're in a long-term trade, you let it cook. But if you see something, start moving your stop losses to different areas. Like there's reasons why you make certain moves. As a trader, first you try to just see if you can actually get in and get out with making money, right? That's your, okay. Once you can do that a couple more times, you start thinking, can I get in the most accurate way, right? And that's what I learned was, okay, yeah, I could just look at the 4-hour, but the 1 hour could give me an even better entry. And then if I was going to toy around with the 1 hour, then the 15-minute might be precise. And if I can, and there was a time where there's no way I could bring in the 1. And what I usually use is the 1. I did the 7 for years, but because the 7's not on every leverage trading place, and I like to match my trades because I'm doing something with a moving average, I just switched to the 5. I like the 7 more. I feel like it gave me an edge. There was like key things that happened on the 7 that I didn't see anywhere else. So I really like the 7. I almost want to get back to using the 7 more in my analysis, but just would like to get the 7-minute. Maybe I'll ask Weeks to put the 7-minute in because there's a chance I could get that done. I like this set, but anyway, for now it's the 1, the 5. The old me was always on that 7. 1, the 5, the 15. Sometimes I'll dabble with the 30 or the 45 when needed, right? But basically the 1 hour, the 4 hour. And I like to peep on that 8 hour. It's interesting. And then the daily. And I'll use these if needed too, but they're not like, And so I want to see those key time frames. And what that does, it just gives me like, I can't explain it now because and if you look at all those time frames every day, they all become one time frame. See, before it was like, oh, I knew this, but I can't get that. And I know what I'm doing is actually extremely difficult because my style is simple on paper, but I'm meshing time frames together in a really interesting way. And I think that's what people miss too, because this is something you almost can't see. It's almost the intangible of the strategy, right, inside here. And this is really almost like as much as, so there's the indicators, there's the timing, there's the indicators, there's the timing, and then there's the use case of time frames. Three different clear details to execution, right, to hitting what I call the perfect entry. And again, not all my trades hit, But a lot of times when I do open a trade, like I try to get that like moment where it's either going to not move, it's going to go not my way, or it's going to push like perfectly. You know what I mean? It's like right off a moving average or right in a key level where there should be a bounce, right? Where you're either going to start whipping green or, or the trade's just going to get negated pretty fast. That way you can move on, enjoy a win, or move on fast, right? You don't have to spend too much time like toying around. Good day, lifers. Shout out to everybody here. Red Folder, Powell speaking, and U.S. Holiday Friday this week. Should be fun. Yeah, let's take a look at what's happening on our, thank you for just bringing that up. We'll get that out of the way. And we'll take a look at the calendar week here for the Forex Factory. Next week, turn the page. So Monday comes in, it looks pretty clean for us, all right? Funny, Mondays we've been having, instead of false moves, we've been having pumps on Monday. And for a money supply month over month at GDP, I'd like to see that. That could just give me some type of, M3 money supply for Europe. My mind can use that data. So then we got the Tuesday JOLTS job opening, 10 a.m., right? Comes at a funny time, not that 8:30, right? Right when I show up too. So it's right when we're, Fed Chair Powell speaks also at 9:30. So dang. They're getting ready to make that Tuesday a pretty messy day. Looks like Tuesday could be the false move Monday. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just interesting. Wouldn't be surprised they pump Monday and mess around on Tuesday. But again, I'm not going to speculate that far on that. It's just, an idea that I'm almost more as entertainment. Like, how many touchdowns will they score, But it's still, it lingers in my mind. But I'm going to play the charts. Then we got non-farm. I mean, it's just like you can't write a better red folder, right? Non-farm, 8:30 Thursday. Like, that just says Frogland right there. Right? Unemployment rate, unemployment claims. We're coming hard Thursday. And then Friday, bank holiday, right? Which also usually slows down liquidity. It's July 4th, right? So this is coming into July 4th weekend. The market's going to be slow. People with tons of money are going to take their entire week off and not look at anything. No big, it's one of the greatest American holidays where people are all with their family. I'll still probably stream. I'll squeak a stream it. You know what I mean? I always somehow do. But you can tell what's setting up for the week. Again, you never know with Bitcoin. It usually uses sleepy times to make massive moves. So right now, setting up for the charts could be interesting. But as far as maybe the traditional markets, they could be a little slower too. But they are seeming to heat up. We'll see. There's a lot of volatility coming our way, though. There's definitely going to be amazing opportunity to make money. You can see that assets are going to be bouncing around this week. And there's going to be definitely emotional catalysts as well that's going to create people to do silly things, which will get them short squeezed and give definitely entries and positions that will create beautiful opportunities for us. So I'm already really excited about the week. And then, like next Friday probably would be like if everything's going well, we'll see. But maybe it's a day to like not trade, with all this craziness going on. It's July 4th. But I will be spending time with family that day as well. The next few days, basically a week. It's a holiday week. It's a holiday month, man. But yeah, you can see what's ready for the week. And I always say, write this stuff down on a sticky note and stick it to your screen because I always forget this stuff. And even no matter how many times I go over it, if it's not written down. But you do whatever makes you happy. I just, my little, maybe you put it in your Siri's note. And you can always do that too. Hey, Siri, alert me at 8:25, But then you'll leave your phone upstairs, come downstairs. And then you'll forget. I've just been in a huge trade before. It's been going awesome. Like, put it in the night before, woke up that morning, was like, and the trade actually went fine. But, like, I just was like, forgot. And then saw, like, what the, saw like a massive pump and dump out of nowhere and was like, and then like, came to my senses 10 minutes later and was like, oh yeah, like I went over this 5 times this week. It's, but when you're in that moment, I found like there's a trigger because you're watching money pump and you're up in a trade. And like, I don't know, for me, it can like trigger my like pretty good memory, In that moment, I'm pretty jarred about something else and my focus is, but if I had the sticky note, I'm like, oh, see, anyway. I know because tech is better. Like, why not use tech? I get it. So that's my only reasoning for doing All right, so the weekly looks good to me. It's in a bull flag. It's technically in a cup and handle. There is that bearish div that everyone's saying, and I've seen it. But you could say that that's what it was. Like, it's as strong as support as resistance. I've always said that. If you're in a nasty downtrend, I've seen them, when Bitcoin is dumping in a horrible downtrend, you will get some bullish div, and it will palm. But it just won't be able to make it past resistance, and then you'll be down here somewhere. You'll always get a pump. Don't get me wrong. It always works. That's what people don't understand. That's what I learned over time now. But it just doesn't work enough. Like, you could say, yeah, bearish div, of course. We dumped for sure, but that's all you got because you came right to the previous support. Because previous resistance was support. Look, you whipped right to that area. Everyone had a buy order. Everyone picked this line to put a buy order in. And there's just so much buys there, they just scooted the price, right? You remember how many people missed out on getting a $100,000 Bitcoin? Let's go over the timeline. Bitcoin's ripping 65, 66. Everyone's saying they're going to get 20,000, $50,000, $41,000 Bitcoin, right? It's going down. That's what they keep telling them. You'll get 30 again. You'll get 40 again. Don't chase, right? That's what these people that quote unquote, whatever, So I'm calling the inverted head and shoulder there, right? The fallen wedge. We eventually caught this reversal. I saw it as a bull flag, right? Anyway, it's not even, but boom. And now these people think, so now they're like freaking out. And they FOMO in with the same emotions that told them they knew what was going on. That's why you don't listen to those emotions, because they lie to you, and then you get upset with yourself, and now you're in a really weird state. You're like, you don't trust yourself. You're upset with what you did. The market's moving. There's like 5 reasons to feel like a loser. And it hurts. It hurts like every time you think about it. From one angle, it sucks. Another angle, like I've been there, like in the market. When the market's moving and I didn't get in and I knew I should have been and I did a stupid move. Or I used my emotions to get me out of a trade that ripped. I've done it. I did it so many times. So like now I just listen. Like right now, this trade on the 4 hour is tough. But I'm using my logic and my years of backtesting and not my emotions. My emotions are saying it's sketchy. That thing's about to dump. How could you go hard on this 4 hour flag? It's likely going to eat you alive. And my mind's like, but that's touching the 21 above the 200. And I've just seen it too many times. You know what I mean? And separating that emotional person from the logical person is difficult. That separation is the divorce. There's a marriage there, and there needs to be a divorce. It's funny, an internal divorce. But that has to happen for us to grow. And I think that's what's holding many, many traders back. That's what held me back. That is the key. So it's not about learning. I mean, the thing is, it takes 3 to 4 to, I think, depending on the person, it takes 2 to 4 years to really learn the technical analysis. Why the moving averages matter, right? Why, even fair value gaps, whatever you want, and whatever you decide to pull in, that's taking time, all right? And everything you add is another puzzle piece that's now going to add more time. So if you decide to use 2 indicators and then add another one and another one, what you're doing is adding multiple things your brain now has to collect every time it looks for a trade. So now your brain has to collect. So think about this. Trading is very similar. This is a great example. I'm making a really funny metaphor, all right? But go back in time to let's just say we're watching like the monkey community. Which I don't mean monkey. I'm trying to make some type of funny metaphor here. But say trading is basically a metaphor for trading is you have to go out and collect 3 oranges. Once you have 3 oranges, a basket appears and you can put it in the basket. And when you put it in the basket, you can win a trade, right? But you can't put it in a basket till you collect 3 oranges, So you have to grab 1, 2, and 3. And that's kind of like having indicators, right? So like I collect the 21, I collect the stochastics, I collect the bull flag, right? And like maybe I can collect some VRVP, right? It looks good to me. Now the better you get, the more you can collect at 2. You can handle more oranges. But eventually, like 7, 8, 9, like how many oranges you can have in your hand, right? And you're going to drop them before you even get to the basket. You see what I'm saying? Your brain's not going to be able to handle. It's a great metaphor for me personally. I don't know for you, but like your brain's not going to be able to handle it all. So like we got to simplify our entries and our exits. For me, away from the 21, stochastics are hot. I'm out. It's so awesome now for me. Like I don't have to think about it as much as I used to. I just have to do it, right? And the more I do it, the better my brain gets at doing it. And the more money I make, and the more I see the results. And the more enjoying. When you see results of your labor, it's very enjoying. It's very, very enjoyable, you know, especially in something at trading that, like, even in your mind, like, I started to think it wasn't ever going to happen. That's why I love the fact that I made it trading, because, like, there was a point in my life where I just decided it couldn't happen. Like, I was broken, and I had to rebuild my mind. Like, I talk about neuroplasticity, right? And we could go to Grok and just say, hey, what is neuroplasticity, right? And we'll do that maybe in a little bit, just because I'll probably learn something with you. But it's important, and it's in a basic point, it's rebuilding our brains to become someone different, to believe we're not the person we used to be, who lives by the same beliefs we used to believe. I grew up in middle class Boston, you know, where there's some upper middle class people too, and then very rich towns all around me. Brookline, one of the richest towns in America, really, right next to me. Well, it's the next town over, so you know, golf courses, you know, it was nice, you know. My neighborhood was very down to earth though, and it was awesome. But the point was, like, there was like this, we're the working class and they're the richer people. Like, we do the roofing and we do you know, we do the walkways, and they own multiple homes and fly around the world, you know. And it was like that idea, you know. And you're not, like, we're never gonna get that rich as them. Like, they're the rich ones, you know what I mean? And I think that kind of always hit me too. I was like, huh, you know. And you kind of, like, I started to fall into that belief, you know. And, like, I remember at 31, I was like putting in TVs at some rich dude's house, you know, and I was like crawling under the crawl space to drill through walls, and, you know, because it was just like 5 or 6 years ago. I think it was 5 years ago I was doing this, like, make some extra money, because I was there in the summer. I needed some extra money. It was like, I didn't want to spend any crypto, you know. And it was just, you know, you look back on your life like, wow. And cryptocurrency has created an experience for me and a lifestyle for me that was just probably unattainable through any other means, because of the speed in which it happened, right? And it took forever in a way for me, because I was always doing investing, right? It's like years and years, but it's and that's why I just encourage people never to give up. That's why I love cryptocurrency. That's why I talk about it all the time, Bitcoin, you know, and just in the collection of coins and the opportunity in them, you know. And it's hard. It hasn't been easy, right? But if you look at Solana, I put 100 grand in it. It's $147,000 today, right? It's been like a year and a half, I think, 18 months or more, right? But that's better than inflation, isn't it? I got 47% on my money today compared to the dollar. Yeah, it's been up and down. Yeah, it's been a volatile move. But I probably would have lost more if I held it in the dollar. Agreed? I mean, there's been inflation still. No matter what they say, things have gone up slightly. I don't see the prices going down for anything. Some real estate, Florida real estate is in a little bit of a, like, I would watch that to look for a bottom in the next, I don't know, 12 to 18 months, because it definitely got a little overheated. And I see price cuts every day now on Zillow. So if you're thinking about buying a Florida, the prices are dropping, you know. So good morning. Brushing your teeth with the other hand also promotes neuroplasticity. I've heard that. Yeah, I read a book about it. He said, say I love you while you're brushing your teeth with your left hand, if you're right-handed, or vice versa. But yeah, a bit of an inverted head and shoulder that we could be looking at too here, for sure, on Bitcoin. Money 7 day, 5 days. Like what I say, the 5 day is in like what looks to me like a little bull flag now. After all its strange behaviors, you know, kind of uptrending flag too. And it does look like it wants to head back to the top of the range. If anything, you know, even if we're bearish, it looks like we could get a pump somewhere up to 110, 109, and that would be a huge pump for me. So 3 day chart also, like, is in that double bottom. The only thing I'm thinking is, could the 3 day chart use this top trend line as resistance and come back down? Now, if it does that, it looks like I could still get to about 108.6 before I may have to bail on the trade. So see if I can get a little more love out of that trend line. Maybe not. Maybe we're just, but there is a chance it gets cooked here and it comes back to the bottom of the trend. That is, you know, and then that's 104.5. And so, you know, could be a chance we come back down to possibly 104.6, 104.5. There is a chance. You see? And that would make sense. It wouldn't be bad. It would like be just consolidation inside a flag. Then we could break out. 3-day charts intact for a bull flag. You know, so if anyone's bearish, it's almost like, you know, the 3-day chart is right now in a bull flag as far as I'm concerned. So strange how the 3-day chart's in a bull flag, but you could see shoulder, head, shoulder though. You can see that, and then the daily looks like it could be in a sketchy head and shoulder pattern, right? Shoulder, head, right shoulder. And at resistance or getting close to it, like maybe we pump right more, one more solid move to 109. So it's you know, it doesn't look amazing, you know, like we're getting a little overbought there. I can see some warning signs, but it also is like, huh. And then we got this big liquidity, 1089. It just hasn't gone away. It's like this massive short liquidation. It's like they want to liquidate this person. So, and like there's a little bit of a short liquidation right there just now in the morning. So yeah, it just, you know, Bookmap's still telling me that it wants to go up here to 109. So that's, yeah. And then the 8 hours in the flag now as well. And that looks healthy. The way the 21's curving up with it. The 4 hours already on, it's 21. You give it this whole pole, even just the smaller beginning. And that's basically almost the all-time high again, right? Is hitting this resistance. Like I said, I have it in this flag here. And it's basically flat at 107.3. Very little volume. Yeah, then you watch the 1 hour, and look at the 1 hour. Slightly curving, touching the 21. Like, that thing looks like it's about to pump. I'll be honest, like, I would get in, I would trade. I'm already in the trade, so I guess I'm a little hype about it. But, like, that looks like you're going to get some type of pump here on the 1 hour time frame. And thank goodness we did, because last night I had this shoulder, head. I was like, man, they're going to roll this thing over. All day, I don't know, they induced a lot of shorts. They got people to open a short there because they thought it was a head and shoulder. People opened a short there, thought it was a head and shoulder. This was a head and shoulder pattern. Like, this was a head and shoulder pattern. It was just like, it's like someone, and then they made like bearish div. Like they did everything they could to induce a bunch, right? It's like almost like they painted then they had bearish divergence here. Yeah. And I'm long, right? Even though, and again, tight moving averages, though, with the 200 curving up. I know that's a catalyst for a move out. A lot of times, they'll try to trick me with some other indicators, but the moving averages will always tell the story, you know? So, wow, I mean, that flag looks like we could break out. And then I'd look at my 15 and look at the banana curve on that thing. Like, almost had a cup. It has a cup and handle, you see? Let me show you what I'm talking about. You see, there's your cup with a handle. So interesting. You can do this on anything, really, like any indicator, but look how it just fires off. And that is the 15-minute time frame. Look, it just popped. Like, looks like it may want to do some damage here. Get above that 200, the 21. Had a golden cross there. And look, that's the model too, technically. And maybe I'd like to see it a little cleaner. Like, maybe it does something like this. You know, like it goes up and down, but it's touching the 21 above the 200. You know, again, good odds that that's going to break out today, maybe get us to 108,000. So things are looking interesting on a Saturday, right? For whatever reason. And again, I would expect almost nothing. Like, I would expect Saturday for us to just like do absolutely nothing, go sideways all day. But you never know. You never know that when you break above 200 moving averages, especially when you've been, look, we were fighting below it for a while. That was a treachery zone. Back above it means the trend's back in your, you know, every time you get back above a moving average, specifically 15-minute above, means you got some type of trend cooking. And a trend on the 15 can lead to a trend on the 1 hour. And a trend on the 1 hour is, you know, and a 4 hour. And then if you look at the 4 hour on the daily, which still have gas, you see no reason really just to bail on a long run. For me personally, and you can see shorts getting squeezed. And who knows? I'm not always right. We'll take it one step at a time. But I'm still in my trades. We'll see what happens. Where it is? I got it on my laptop. It's easier to manage. It's up $129. It's, again, like 0.91 Bitcoin, $9,000 at 11x leverage, right? It's up $128. So we'll see where it goes. Entry was at 107, 193. Basically above this 200 moving average on the 15. See where we go. And the idea is that my stop loss is below the 200 moving average on the 4 hour right here. And we're going somewhere. So it's a lot of times when I see a bigger move, the best idea is to zoom. Like, let me show you. I'll see a trade that I like, sometimes even on the 5, like a nice flag. But I know it's a low volume day where they're going to probably stop hunting. And it's a beautiful setup. But I know if I just set up like, 300 for 1,000 and go for the scalp, I'll probably lose $300. You know what I mean? And they'll still pump it here. Like, in the direction usually goes my way. So when I feel the low volume hunts coming, I zoom out and just do the same trade. It has to be bigger risk, a little bigger of a trade, but with like way further of a stop loss. So like, I know that little flag's in there too on the 5, and I know they're eventually going to move that trade. And so I just make this trade here like this, Sometimes once it does its thing, I just zero back in like I was in this one, and I take my money out. And I forget that I kind of use the bigger trade as cover to scalp the small trade. That way I'm not getting stopped out on the smaller position. That's how I make that's how you guys see me. Like, how did you just move 1,000? How did you? Because I'm like, and I'm ready to take the trade the longer way if it goes the longer way. And I'm ready for the risk if I lose this or lose that. And usually what I do is I'm like 3,000 for 9,000 here or something, or 2,000 for 6 or something, whatever it is. Sometimes maybe 5 for 15. But like right here, we lose a 200 moving average on the 15 somewhere here. And I'm down like maybe 800 to $600. I cut it off. I never really lose the $5,000, $3,000 because, you know what I mean? I don't have to usually because by then we're this one's a little more because I'm very close to the bone on the 200. But maybe we start dumping down here and it looks, I want to see this flag stay strong. Like this flag starts to break down, then I know my plan is not there, right? This flag, basically we got to see a breakout out of the flag. They might wick it down a little bit as long as they don't get me below the 200 moving average, right? And you also have to be ready to lose what you're willing to lose and win, to win what you're willing to win. I've learned, like, you can't have it both ways, right? You can't have, like they say, your cake and eat it too. And that's why I think a lot of people can't do that. Like, they have a $10,000 account and they want to make $10,000 and they're going to risk $3,000, but like they lose $3,000 and then they can't handle it. They never were ready to lose $3,000. They said they were on paper, but they weren't ready to do it. Like, they did it, but they didn't have a long talk with themselves and say, "Can I handle this loss?" I like to look at my balance right before the trade, and I see it like it's 28,000, 30,000, 50, or whatever it is, right? And I'm like, could I handle? If it's 50,000, I'm like, could I handle it in 47? And my mind's like, I could easily come back from that. If I lost it twice, it's like, as long as, and again, 3 out of 10 trades, if you're doing the right thing and you hit 3 out of 10 trades, you'll win more than you lost. But people aren't consistent either. So if you're going to trade once here and there, that here and there, then yeah. And maybe you did your 10 trades in 2 months. And if you look back, you actually will win eventually. But that's another thing that people do. They do 6, 7 trades. They might lose 4 of them. They're down $2,000 or $3,000, right? And they don't have the money to keep the data set going, right? You see what I'm saying? If they had the money to keep the size of the same trades they had going on, the probability is likely to get them out. But they're not going to keep the size. You see what I'm saying? And so eventually that also becomes, right? And so that's like a balance in trading, right? It's what people go back and forth on. And that's why a lot of people fail, because they don't sit and plan it out and say, hey, this is how much and again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm never telling you what to put in a trade, what to use. I'm just going over like basically how someone should go about trading through probability, right? Like, there's a way to do it. And what happens is people just dip their toe in. They don't go. You know what I'm saying? So honestly, what I look like, watch it. What I look like really doesn't matter, to be honest, on the weekly screen share. He says the quality. I don't see it. Could be YouTube. Could be your computer, man. I don't know. Look, what I'll do right now is on screen. I'll watch it back. But if I don't, maybe I'll see. Maybe you're probably spot on. People don't say things for no reason. But usually people here on the weekly screen share are so honed in, like they don't even mention stuff like that. I appreciate it though, Daniel. Yeah. But nobody really seems to care, like here in an intimate setting. So he said quality is good, looks fine to me. Yeah, same with the, yeah. Yeah, let me see what I forgot what the bit rate I set was to, so I could up the bit rate on my next stream. Like what it used to do back in the day, though. I know what you're saying. That used to drive me crazy on the live. Let me see if it's happening. Let me see. I don't know if I'll even be able to see the live stream without hold on 1 second. See, threw off my flow. I don't have really time to be playing around. Oh, wait, hold on though. Okay. Here it is. I see where it seems like after all its strange behaviors, kind of uptrending flag too. And it does look like it wants to head back to the top of the range. If anything, even if we're bearish, it looks like we could get a pump somewhere up to 110, 109. And that I didn't shut my computer off for a few days, so that's probably what it is. It just needs to same thing with my laptop or whatever reason. They need to just be shut off. Yeah. But just listen to what I'm saying. Apologize if it's not perfect. No stress, though. But thank you for saying that. I'll give my computer a shutdown. Yeah. Okay. Let's get back. There's the bot. Seeing if the bot will enter soon. I feel it should. I would tell it to, but it hasn't yet. We'll see. It's waiting for something. So back to what we're looking at here for Bitcoin. Yeah, we're back to this same idea here. And so just I'm on this 4-hour time frame above the 200 moving average. They may make an M pattern, right? We could get rejection here. A bunch of things could happen, right? I'm open-minded. And we're watching the 1 hour and the 4 hour today mainly. Look at your 15-minute, it's above the 200. Your 5-minute, it's back above the 200. And your 1 minute is just breaching right now, which is the signal, right? With the 21. That says you could enter a trade right now and likely make money with the stop just below the 200 moving average. I play it out right there perfectly. If you do the exact same thing right there, you would be in the money right now. See? You just, right when it got above, you open up a stop, and this is nonchalant. I do this and just go get dinner, come back and dinner's paid for. You know what I mean? Or at dinner, I sell the trade, while I'm ordering my appetizer. I check on it 20 minutes later. It plays out. It's amazing. It is low volume weekend, so maybe we don't get the pump. But this happens more than it doesn't. So I'm almost like I wouldn't be surprised if I don't trade it, but it pumps anyway. I'm in longs anyway, so I'm not going to chase that. But now we're up 169 in the long, 1.8%. So you got my take on Bitcoin. I did the macro analysis yesterday, which you should watch, which is kind of takes a good, the time out of sitting on the screen share and going over like every big time frame. Yeah. Sam, is you're about to trade on the 4-hour, mine's on the 15. I don't know exactly I don't know if it's not like set to a time frame from what I remember. I could be wrong. It's just kind of set to do what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean? I never remember like picking a time frame. That's a good question though. I also didn't set the bot up. Like I set up the risk and the parameters, like the numbers. I set up where I believe Bitcoin's going to be. I look at the macro scale and I look at probabilities based on my charts. And I set basically liquidation areas and stuff like that. But that's, with I don't know what the time frames. That's a good question. Also, I'd like to ask, the 4-hour you said doesn't need that much of a small indicator to make that trade. Does a 1-hour need to be in sync? This is what happened to me one day. I'll explain the method of the madness. Is I went to get into the 4-hour time frame, and someone said, "Hey Sam, check the 1-hour," and I was like, "Why?" And they were like, "Just check the 1-hour," and the 1-hour was high. And then we ended up dumping, and I didn't get into the trade. And it was like it was either in a trading group, some of my friends like DM me, check the 1-hour. I can't remember. Then I was looking one day, and someone was like, check the 15 when I was on the 1-hour one day, and the 15 dumped, and I learned if I can make sure the 15 stochastics are low. So if I was going to get into a trade this morning, right? I'd look at the 4-hour. And if I agreed that the 4-hour was curving up and looked good to me, I'd be like, okay, the 4 hours, and I think it's breaking out, like whatever, I'd say the 4-hour looks okay to me, I believe it's going to continue to pump, right? With that knowledge, I'd look at the 1-hour, and I'd say, well, the 1-hour is in a flag. I just said it was about to break out, and so far it looks like it may. And then I'd look at the 15, and I'd see the 15-minute was curving, and about I'd say, well, I should take this trade. The 4-hour, the 1-hour, and the 15 all look good to me. And that's, bang. As far as altcoins go for me, I do believe it's time to accumulate some altcoins. You know what I mean? And again, you do whatever makes you happy. I can't tell you what to do. But for me, I've already accumulated boatloads. But if had I not had any SEI, I would have some. If I had not had any SWE, I got SWE, SEI, Solana, Tau. I just got and I even have still got a bunch of AI. AI will have a run. And then I believe virtuals. I like Vader. I believe there will be that utility use case again for AI agents. That's not over. We're gonna see something going on there, and so I just and again, this is what I believe over my research. So this is where the altcoins come into play, where it's I say never think or believe. That's when I'm trading technical analysis. When I'm trading, it doesn't, and where I believe Bitcoin's going to go, it doesn't really matter. I got to watch the charts, right? But then I look at narratives, and that's when I have to actually believe in something. You know what I mean? Like when I first found Bitcoin, I had to believe in it because I believed it was different than the dollar. So it wasn't technical analysis when I first bought Bitcoin. I believed in something. I researched. I did my research, and then I used that information to change the way I thought about the world. And I made a logical decision based on my research that I believed was a better off decision. Using everyone used the 2-bit bonus for the 4-hour trade. Everybody, you know what I mean? Let's see. What if it rips everybody's money to the upside? It would be awesome. You know what I mean? But do whatever makes you happy. But the bonus is there if you want it. Use the link to 2-bit if you want 2-bit, TOOBIT. They do have an awesome bonus right now, right? So, hey, this guy said he's going to use the bus. I was just reading. He said he's going to use the bonus for the 2-bit. That's awesome, man. Good for you. So, boom. And then I posted token metrics. I have it on my computer. I'll get it installed on this new computer. I just haven't installed my wallet to connect, so I got to do all that. Did you ever convert your AGIX? I still haven't. I didn't know. You're right. Thank you for saying that because I've forgotten about it completely. That's something I need to do soon. I appreciate you saying that. Do I even have the wallet to do that? XRPK seems to have come to a close. Brad tweeted, Ripple SEC have come to an agreement to end. Thank you, right? Amazing. So I'm going to run this till about 8:29, and then I'm going to jump into a live stream, right, where we're going to do the same thing basically, but more people will be awake and around, and it'll be public, right? And then I'm going to end that at 9, and then I'm going to start the class. And then we're going to rip through class. The class is going to be amazing. I'll be poised and ready at that point, really. And then it will be 12 o'clock, right? And I'll go and hang out with my family and say, good morning, everybody. How you're all doing, and my aunt and everyone. Sammy, you may please look at a coin for me. Yeah, what do you want? Let's show me. Let me see. Question. The 21 touches the candle inside the bull flag. That is when you enter a trade, or do you wait for the 21 to enter the bull flag? Thank you. It does things in all different ways, right? Like here, look, it entered the flag and hung out, right? For me, it just I want to check. Like I have a checklist, and this is what I'm going to teach in the class. And on the checklist, it just says like what I should be looking for, right? And I want to see price touching or being near or being on the 21. Sometimes being just near it is okay, but in general, I'd like it to be touching it. Once it starts, it can hang out. See how it's hanging out here? There's a few different ways it can happen. For the most part, I just wanted to see. A lot of times on the smaller time frames, it'll just be like a tap, and then you can see a move though. Like I'm trying to see like the 5. But even here, like, you came in, you hang out with it, and then you start to break out. Here you could say this is like a similar one, like, you kind of pumped up, but then you came back, and then it hang out, and then you broke out. Like, that's a pretty good example. And you'll watch it. What'll happen is you'll pump, and this happens with the weekly, the daily. Like, what I'm about to show you is basically trading in a nutshell. Like, you'll pump, boom. You'll pump way away from the 21-day moving average. You'll have to come back to it. That's why I always, when you come back to it, that's when I begin to draw this. And I'm like, well, there's one of two things. Now you're going to keep dumping down to the 200, or you're going to consolidate, pull the moving averages with you and get tight. If you pull the moving averages with you and get tight, well, then you're likely to break out the moving, the flagpole, right, to the upside. And that's basically my, and then I watch them, and then the stochastics should go up and down. Maybe they go up and down again. And then when they look, see, that one didn't even go down already. They kind of got tight. Point is, they made a tiny little flag. It's the cup and handle too. At the end of the day, for whatever reason, it always seems to be. And then you hit the target, right, that the flag said you would hit. It's pretty, and then you made a bearish divergence, which tells you that's not. So even other people see this flag and they go, flag hit the 21-day moving average, and they lose. And they don't understand why. I'm like, well, they didn't play. You want to play like the first flag above the 200, not the second one. Number one, that has a better chance. This one is also, same thing here. This is what we're kind of looking for on the 4-hour right now. Came back to the 21 above the 200. Boom. I basically want to see the 4-hour do this right here. I want this to be a microcosm of what I'm playing now on the 4-hour. Same idea. You could enter there, stop loss below the 200. You'd be in the money there on that sell at 107.486, right? It hit the 21 and was gone. See how it just tapped it? This one, it kind of played with it. So in these falling wedge, we call these bull flags, kind of falling wedge. They're falling wedges in bear markets and regular markets. But when we're getting bullish, we start calling it's more of a bull flag because it's like just an uptrend dart. It's a quick little dart up, and then it usually rips again. And that taps the 21 and it's gone. But when you start to consolidate, you usually hang out with it a little bit. So when you make the elongated flag, like the bull flag, you're usually hanging out with it. But when you this little bull flag, like you're gonna break out, like the pennant, you know. So both kind of happen, and you kind of, you know, and the idea is just to be buying near them anyway. This one you have to front run it, like you almost have to just like plan for it as it's happening, you know, because boom. But I've seen it so many times now. You can backtest this little move. This is really, in my mind, this is what trading is. Like, it happens on every time frame. Like, sooner or later, the daily's going to pump so hard, and then it's going to come back to its 21. Somewhere in Bitcoin's future, this is set in stone that this is going to happen to it. Then it's going to make a flag pump, and then it's going to make bearish divergence, and that's going to be the end of the rally. We don't know when, but that's going to happen to Bitcoin, right? Like, so that's why this bearish divergence on the weekly right now has a lot of people, like, in the middle, because they don't seem to know how to handle it, right? So I've been trading the same model over and over again, so I'm cool with whatever happens. If we lose it, fine. If we don't, fine. You know, once you have a good model that's taking care of you and you've made more trades winning than losing, then you just kind of are happy to take the trade again, because you're like, all right. I was telling someone it's not the same, but it's kind of like all the electronics I've ever bought at the store. They're like, do you want to buy insurance? And I never did, right? And then like 10 or 12 years went by. The thing worked all the way until I either sold it or never used it again. And very rarely did anything ever break that I ever bought. And I never used the insurance on like maybe 50 to 60 items or more that I've bought in my life, right? And so now when they're like, do you want insurance? I'm always like, no. Because like if this one broke and I had to replace it, like it still would be cheaper than all the times I had to pay for insurance. You know what I mean? So I'd still be up on you. So I'm like, then I don't need to ever pay for it again, you know, because I don't. And it's like once you start knowing something's better for you, then you just don't even question doing the other thing. And so that's why I take the better, you know, I take the trade that I take, you know. So now we're watching for the 5. The 5's either going to kind of show, the 5, it's almost like a head and shoulder, right? Looks a little, let me show you. So like a shoulder, head, shoulder. It almost looks like a complex head and shoulder. Not saying we're going to dump, you never know, but it just, you know, I just show you exactly what I see. I think that confuses people because they're like, I don't know, because I'm just an open book. I don't know what's going to happen. And he was so bullish a second ago. That's weird, you know, like a slanted head and shoulder pattern kind of hidden there. Like if I see a dump in the next 10 or 20 minutes, I mean, well, I did see a head and shoulder there and said we were going somewhere to 106.9, you know. Like to see this little trend line hold, I guess, for now. What is the 5-minute? Treachery on the weekends. I wouldn't be trading the 5-minute on the weekends, especially not on like a pre-holiday weekend in the summertime. I think that's, someone did it this morning and made money. I guess the signal played out, so it was a perfect signal. We bought it above the 200, so. But I wouldn't want to like stare at the screen all day and trade, you know. I'd set a trade and leave it alone. But that looks like it's on a dump. That does look like a head and shoulder to me. And again, it could even dump. We don't, like, it's the 5-minute. Like, I don't know exactly what's going to happen today. You know, it could dump down here, and we don't know exactly what pattern I'm going to see. No clue. It'd still dump and end up becoming this pattern, right? That'd be cool if I never really did this projection this far ahead like that. That would be new for me. Be amazing if that ends up playing out. So anyway, I could keep going over Bitcoin over and over again. Sam, if you need insurance in Massachusetts, let me know. We're very competitive. My job is not about selling, but relationships, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Sam, it seems to me the money in alts this cycle to swing trade instead of a hodl strategy in the past. What's your opinion? Because my alts are getting wrecked this cycle. I mean, yes and no, right? I've been holding all coins and just holding them, right? I still hold on to. When the market rips, altcoins can pump so fast, so quickly back. I don't really look at the downs. I think you have to be through a few cycles. And once you've been through a few cycles, you just like, I don't know, it's just penance for holding when it comes to altcoins. Like Solana. I've been in Solana 100 grand. It's gone down to 110, 109, like 120, 180, 300. Like it's gone all around the place. If we really have a real run and it goes to like $300, $500 and I sell it for $500,000, It'll take me 2 years. It's still $250,000 a year, right? Patience is, and if the market does rip, altcoins just, they kick through these losses so fast, you don't even remember them. And you're so full of euphoria. So if you're either in for the long haul with these things or you're not. And you gotta have to make that decision. And once you make that decision, you just can't look back on it, and you can't let your emotions in and make you feel some kind of way. Like, and I can't say they haven't. Like, Solana's got to me a few times. It's been nice. You guys watch. I'm like, oh my, should I just finally just cash in on this thing? Like, is this it? Like, there's been times, and I've had to sit there and ask myself, well, what am I here for? Like, I'm not a panic seller. One time I did sell it because it clearly looked like it was going to go lower, and I would like to accumulate more of it, and I did. And like, maybe you could say I got lucky, whatever, but I think the TA was just really spot on at that point, and I was not going to not pay attention to it. Could you explain to us why you see another leg for crypto in this bull cycle, meaning the cycle is not over yet? Yeah, I mean, there's two reasons. I mean, honestly, I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen, right? I don't, number one. I don't. I have no clue what's going to happen, right? To be honest. I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance, number one. Like, straight, that's the number one fact here, right? Okay. But why would I personally stay in, Number one, I've been accumulating throughout this entire bull run at any heavy fear moment. And the last time we were at 10, we were at 84. And usually 10 is a really substantial area for the fear and greed index to hit. Like 26 right there, we hit that right there in February was where we went to 10. Okay. We hadn't done that in a long time, right? If you look at the max, I think the last time we had been down there was in 2022. So the last time that happened, there was a 3-year low. So I felt like, that number one, the 84,000 could be a 3-year low. You may never see that price ever again, technically, right? That's a chance because of this. So for me, it's the fear and greed index going that low because it's unlikely you would come revisit that low again. And to do that would be, right now with the price, would probably take you back down to 90 to 89, 80, it'd have to be a pretty nasty sell-off. We've also battled 100,000 now a few times. Like, we've gone way above it, lost it for a few months, like a while, for months, come back above it, lost it, come back above it. We seem to be bottoming out now somewhere at 104, 103.9 is like this area we keep really holding. And now we have a higher floor. We're only like, a few $1,000s. Like, I keep showing everybody, we're like, that was the highest weekly candle close ever. We are like $1,700 away, $1,900 away from the highest weekly candle close ever. Like, if this candle just got a couple more bids and got ripped up and closed up there, it would be the highest weekly candle in Bitcoin's history. That's a green candle next to a red candle. That's, and another thing is, like I showed you, it's a cup and handle. There's a cup, there's a handle there. Hold on, something. Why is it doing that? It's a glitch. Anyway, there's a cup and handle there. Another thing about it is I trade the trend, right? And if you look at it, you have a low, a high, a lower, higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Slightly higher high, higher low. Like, it looks to me like it could definitely take this leg. That leg to the upside. See if I can reload that and it'll go away. It's happened to me a couple times before, though. I just had to, like, reset or something. So weird, right? It makes like a dagger even though for no reason. My bad, I'm bugging. I've been able to send a super chat, and I wanted Tim to check it out. This thing's gonna boom, no joke. No worries. I'll be live on the live stream in a second. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not here to get super chats. This is like where I want to hang out with you guys and on my, I would love them, don't get me wrong, but that's like, you know what I mean? I'm not here to get super chats when I'm here with you guys. I met Crypto Ben at the event networking. He was there about Bitcoin. I was there for my job. Had a long conversation. I told him I have Bitcoin and heavy and alts. He's a man. He's a good guy. My bad. I'm bugging about Blaze. I've been able to send super chat. Thanks, man. We'll look at it. Yeah. What up, Greg? What up, Reliable J? Yeah, and I'll work on token metrics throughout the day. There's more stuff I can send. So, and then, by the end of the night, you'll get a bunch of stuff and all the reports that I can find, any new coins and all that awesome stuff too. So look out for that. Yeah, I'm still in my Caspa. I've never sold any of this stuff. I just put it in hardware wallets and forget about it until the time is right. Yeah. Exactly. And someone said, as long as we don't break. Exactly. It's about key levels and areas that matter. 100%. 100%. As long, for me, right now, see how if we lose this 106.471, see how we've, that would take, look, right now, we came up, we did this, right? Boom, 5 minutes, and then you're, trying to make this uptrend, right? If you come down and break that, that's the break of the trend. You can see, so you don't want to lose that low at 106.6 technically, right? On the small time frame, but this is how big time frames work too. It's the same scenario. You lose this, then it becomes a bearish retest, and then it's, the other way. And almost, funny, something I see that I don't, could it be the dreaded inverted cup and handle, right? Almost. We'll see. The 4 hour really is my guiding grace here. You can see I'm putting a lot of faith on one setup, one indicator, right? And I could be wrong. And there's a chance, that we, there's a chance that could have been the top. I mean, there is a chance. I have to, I know people but I don't know. You see what I'm saying? I don't know. If that is, then I just continue to buy Bitcoin, and I guess my altcoins will get slaughtered, and we'd go from there, right? And I'd have to be all right, maybe I'd panic sell again at 100K or something. I don't know, but it just seems like we've been through so much in the altcoins. How much more can they get sold off, right? Yeah, I would never tell you when to get into anything, man. If you're looking at SEI, you got to just, do the TA for yourself and decide where you would like to get in, For me, I'd look for retests, flags. If that can make some type of flag. Morning. Hi, sweetie. She's so pretty, huh? Hi. 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 Hey, Laffy. Anyway, I got to restart my computer, and I got 3 minutes to run. But I'll be back on the live stream. We'll go over it. I'll go over SEI and whatever you guys talk about. And I don't want to cut this short. I do want to make the screen shares, though, more about you and your mentality of trading, and talk about kind of how I battled the ups and downs of the emotions. On the live stream, I'll be teaching you the TA day in and day out. I'll be going over coins. But here it's really about asking yourself deep inside what you can change or what's working, if it's working well for you, and how to keep that and how to stay consistent with that, and that's just another thing to think about. Okay. I'll look at this frame rate too as well. Hopefully this can handle it. We'll see. I'll be back in a few minutes. I'll probably be live by 8:35 or something like that. And you guys can watch this whenever you want with the link, right? It's recorded always by YouTube. That way we don't have to worry about all that other stuff. Will we ever get back to Zoom? I don't know. People say it's better off this way. I don't know. Yeah. Zoom like messes up my audio. It does something weird, man. I don't know why. Anyway, I'll check back in with you guys in about 3